Today, you are going to learn the 5 best exercises for shoulder impingement. First, you need to know what it is and you need to know why it's there before you can jump into what to do. Or it's like jumping the end of a movie. You don't even know why you're doing it. And when you don't know why you're doing it, you'll stop and quit. So here's what shoulder impingement is. It's pain right through here. Specific point pain right here. And it's pain that's often worse through pushing exercises. Anything that starts inward here and goes out. Specifically, it usually gets worse on anything overhead. This injury is caused from a chronic collision of the arm bone as it hits the underside of the acromion of the scapula. So the arm bone wails into the scapula over and over and over for years and years and decades. Here's what happens. You can see this bone right here, this arm bone. This is your rotator cuff tendon. Many of you call this your rotator cuff. There's 4 of them. If you only think this is one, this is why you have shoulder pain. This is called your supraspinatus. It is the muscle that gets injured with shoulder impingement because as the arm lifts up, this tendon starts getting rubbed, and it starts to grind and grind and grind the tendon, much like a rope over a rock will start fraying and fraying and fraying until the whole thing just snaps off. You may have already had a repair, it might be back, but what you need to understand is why. And I'm gonna explain to you why, and then I'm gonna show you what to do about it. So, this is the misalignment that's happening with you right now. It's that your shoulder blade right here, follow me, it's elevated, it's protracted, winging, it's downwardly rotated. That's the misalignment. This is what your shoulder blade looks like under your skin. And here's how that causes impingement. Is because when you lift your arm up, your shoulder blade is already so downwardly rotated that it causes a collision and whacks this acromion. It whacks it. What you must learn how to do, there's no other way around it. Not even surgery. Surgery will just cut out the bones so you could keep moving like shit. You must learn how to get this shoulder blade of yours. You must learn how to pull it into its downward position, how to retract, how to get this inner edge of the scapula and pin it to the rib cage. And then learn how to upwardly rotate this as your starting position. And then from there, you must learn how to use that as your starting position during your rotator cuff exercises, in and out, during your fly movements, then through your pull movements, and lastly, through your push movements. So what you're gonna get today is you're gonna get the first 5 exercises inside of our membership. This is the first 5 of many. These are designed to be super slow movements. You're gonna go so slow and you're gonna focus on these. They're gonna look easy. They ain't easy for you. I guarantee you're not doing them right.
Okay.
If you were doing them right, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. So this exercise is called up, down, forward, back, and this is designed to give you more awareness of your shoulder blade. It's hard because you can't see your shoulder blade. So what you're gonna do from this position is make sure your spine stays tall. Number 1 is elevate your shoulder up, all the way, up. Now down is take this shoulder blade and pull it down the back of your ribs to feel the contraction of this pink muscle here, okay? Now forward, with your hands forward, what you want to do is allow an inward rotation of your arm and to pull your shoulder blade forward. And now you're going to outwardly rotate your arm and retract your shoulder blade with this pink muscle here, the middle trap, back. So it's going to be up, down, forward, and back, and slow. Remember, this is a controlled strength movement. Slow, even slower than what Ty was going right there. So common faults with this, really easy. You start to use your ribs. You start to move everything with your rib cage, back and forth. You start to go, that's down, that's forward, this is back. And that's the reason why you're in pain. And this is the reason why you have back pain as well, because your shoulder blade can't do what it's designed to do, and you're getting the movement from your spine. Exercise number 2 is a trap stretch. Most of you, your shoulder blade is in a chronically elevated position. And to loosen this muscle up is important to do before you do these movements to buy you a little bit of range of motion so you can actually utilize it to fix your shit. So you could take your arm on this one. Some of you aren't able to put your arm behind your back, but if you can grab your own forearm through here, good. And if you can really grab your elbow and even curl your arm up on the side like a bicep curl, you're pulling this down. And then what you want to do from there is tilt your head all the way off to the side until you can feel that upper trap stretch. Hold that there, and now rotate your head to the right, rotate yourself up into the left. You can also grab a dumbbell and do this one. You can hold on to anything. You can hold on to the edge of a table and do this one. This is designed to give you a little more movement to pull your shoulder blade down for the third exercise, which are scapula depressions. These ones are fun, and there's not much movement. So you're gonna need a band. Take a band up over a doorway, and now you're gonna start, I want you guys to start in anatomical. Let's put them in anatomical tie. That's the Vitruvian man pose. That's here. This is how you're in an anatomical position, okay? This ape position that you're in right now is not anatomical. This is Neanderthal ape position. Okay? This is why your shoulder hurts. You're in ape position. You're literally standing here covering your crotch with your hands. Anatomical. Pull your palms back. Fantastic. Now what you're going to do with this one, you want to lift your sternum up to keep your chest tall. Great. You want to retract your chin back. Now, without making any spinal compensations, you're going to allow this band to elevate your shoulders up. Great. And now what I'm going to do simply is push your hands all the way down to the ground. Down, 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 down. You know you're doing it right when you're going to feel it in this muscle right here. That's your lower trap. A little secret to feel this one, if you outwardly rotate your hands a little more and then push down, so you're getting a little retraction and then a little depression. Next exercise you're going to do is called the penguin. Now, the penguin is one of my favorite exercises, and it'll probably be one of your favorites too. And I mentioned though that your shoulder is pulled forward. Now here's the kicker with this. It's not pulled forward because your serratus anterior is so strong is pulling you forward. It's pulled forward because everything's rounding. It's a very passive position. So you do need to learn to strengthen this muscle, because this muscle here, when that contracts, what that does is it rotates your shoulder up. So it rotates your shoulder up to give your acromion, to give your shoulder blade more, to give more room between your arm bone and your shoulder blade, thus reducing that collision. That's the collision. So these are called penguins. So for penguins, you're gonna put your hands behind your head, interlace those. Great, very good. And now, you're not flying, okay? We're not doing eagle flies, okay? That's not what this exercise is. This exercise is going to be, your arms are forward, and imagine you've got two guns pointing forward. All right. Hold this here, lift your sternum up, retract your chin back. Very, 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 very slowly. Slowly. Okay, let's turn this wheel a time. Retract your shoulder blades together. Pull them together. Use your lower trapezius muscle through the depressions you just learned to pull it down. So you're pulling it down and you're pulling it together. Now, keeping this lower trap active, what you're going to do now is you want to press your elbow tips forward, forward like guns all the way. You're going to show them the side view tie on this one. So basically you're getting these elbow tips here, and you're going to push them this way towards me. There you go. Push, push, push. Super common fault show them tie. It's just going to be, and this is a compensation. If you're doing this and rounding your shoulder blade, you don't have the ability to protract your shoulder blade yet, so you're getting the movement from your spine, thus compounding the problems. So now you're going to keep your spine upright, keep your sternum lifted. Now these shoulder tips, keep the sternum lifted super tall, pull the lower trap down, and now press that shoulder blade forward. It's a small movement. It's this far. We're not trying to set records for ranges of motion, okay? Super small, subtle movement. And go ahead and press that forward again, Ty. Hold that there and pull the shoulder blade down at the end. You want to keep those down. Your tendency is also going to be elevation. That's the issue. That's one of your misalignments that's compounding the problem. So you're going to need to mentally fight that and retrain that movement by pulling it down. Those are called penguins. Now, these movements now are going to lead up to The final movement of the day is called the lean away shoulder scoop. The scapular scoop is a magical position that reverses all that entire misalignment I showed you with this thing rotating, all this shit with the blade. It reverses all of that. So on the lean away scoop, you're gonna scoot your feet over to the left. So if your hand fell, you would actually fall over right. Okay, great. Okay, so now what you wanna do, the first thing you're gonna do is actually just feel yourself leaning. Okay, and now you gotta make sure your spine's safe. So many of you now, you're gonna be you're like, there I am. This is why you're in this pain. Okay, your spine's not designed to be like a snake on these movements. It's designed to be, for you, you need to keep your spine still and rule out that variable spinal mobility. So now your spine's straight, you're leaning away. Okay, this is where the magic happens. It's gonna take you a while to build up to this one. You're gonna now rotate your arm inward, feel your scapula elevate. This is the quote bad position, okay? And now you're gonna completely reverse it by doing this. You're gonna get that arm and you're going to outwardly rotate it, and there's gonna be a point right about here where it stops moving, and now your shoulder blade is going to pull all the way under. Let's show them that real good scoop there, Ty. Up, and go ahead and pull that scoop all the way down and under. There you go, even more, Ty. There you go. And for Ty even, I'd say, Ty, if you turn through here, there you go, good, nice, good. And again, hold that contraction right through there. Hold that right there. What's occurring is this, the serratus anterior muscle, the muscle that's holding you forward here and causing that winging, it is now active, pulling your shoulder blade back into position. The lower trap is pulling everything downward as well. These are the two primary muscles. You got your lower trap, you got your serratus anterior. Those are the two primary muscles you're training with this exercise. But most importantly is to feel that shoulder blade rotating. This is what you need to get with your shoulder, is rotation, rotation. Keep going, Ty. From the side view, it's gonna be like another good cue as you get your armpit and feel your armpit swooping forward without, there's no humping, okay? We're not doing this. You're not getting the movement here. This is like a rock, and this is rotating. You know you're doing this one right when you feel this in that serratus anterior muscle, in that lower trap muscle. How's that feeling, Ty?
Ooh, it's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's a simple movement, but it's very difficult.
Simple movement, but can be extremely difficult, and it's gonna take you a while to learn. You likely are gonna have to practice. And what I recommend all of our members as well, inside of our membership to do, is you've got those exercises for the first week. The up, down, forward, back, the trap stretch, the depressions, the penguin. Those are gonna prepare your shoulder to be able to do this scoop. That's the preparation to be able to do it. And the final product is that scoop position for now. And we say those are the 5 best exercises. Those are the 5 best level 1 scapular strength exercise. Scapular strength is your first step to a pain-free shoulder caused from shoulder impingement. The follow-up step after this is this. Let's show them some rotator. So after you get that position, great. Then that scap position, then you start doing your rotator cuff where you can feel your, and then your scapula now guides it into the scoop. This is the main issue. Many of you are getting all your PT exercises, these elbows in things, and you completely missed the most important step, which is the ability to stabilize that scapula properly on the rib cage. And now what happens is rhythm is created. Then you move into fly movements. So now what happens in any fly movement, now the scapula leads the way and protracts around without spinal movement, guiding the movement of the arm. The scapula is like the dancer. It's like the male. It's leading the way of the dance, okay? Most of you right now, it's like the female's leading the way because the arm. It's just like, it's not designed. The strength comes from that scapula. Then moving into pull movements where the scapula now properly retracts and depresses. Arms come in through your pulls. And finally, the most difficult is the push movements. It's where your hands are right here. And it's going to be pushes like applying that scap scoop to a bench press. To the most difficult for you now is going to be to an overhead press. I know impingement. I've had shoulder impingement of my right shoulder, my left shoulder, and last year, I didn't get an MRI, but I know I tore that labrum of mine as well. Labrum tears go right with impingement. Labrum tears, impingement, they go together like spaghetti and meatball. So I'd recommend that you nail these exercises right now and really stay consistent with these exercises. You've got about 2 weeks of every day doing these things for 15 to 30 minutes a day before you're ready to upgrade those movements. You can find the next set of movements inside of our app. Inside of our app membership, you can click somewhere below to get information on that, and then you'll start the Move You Shoulder and Arms program. Upon completion of that, that's where you get into then the second most important part, and actually it might be the most important part, is the Back in the Core program, learning the Move You Core Brace. Because many of you guys out there, even doing this stuff, you literally you can't control your spine. If your spine is flopping around like a freaking beached seal, okay, if it's doing this and you literally, no matter what you're doing, your spine's like, what are you doing? It's like possessed. If it's just doing this and you can't control this thing, your inability to stabilize your core will prevent you from properly being able to do this. So that's why you move into the Back in the Core program. Some of you actually might need Back in the Core program before this. But those 2 programs right there should be able to get you so much improvement in that shoulder that you'll be pressing and pushing again, feeling great in a matter of weeks or months, not years. Those are the 5 best exercises for shoulder impingement.
He's a little weird, but he knows what he's talking about.